Have you ever looked at someone you love and sensed that something was quietly shifting? A slower step, a softer voice, a longer silence between words. It is often so subtle that we dismiss it. We tell ourselves it is just a normal part of aging, yet deep down we feel it. A quiet change unfolding before our eyes. Aging is not just about more candles on a birthday cake. It is a journey filled with invisible transformations, some tender and beautiful, others harder to accept, and sometimes those changes carry messages that we do not want to hear, messages that whisper of a final chapter drawing closer. Most people believe that death comes suddenly, like a storm that cannot be predicted. But the truth is, for many elderly loved ones, the body gives quiet warnings long before that final day arrives. Small signs that something deeper is happening if we only have the heart to see them. This video is not about fear. It is not about sadness. It is about love. It is about awareness. It is about the sacred privilege of recognizing when someone you love is entering their last season of life, so that you can be there, so that you can make every moment count, so that you can fill the days that remain with dignity, peace, and unconditional love. Today I will walk with you through 5 of the most subtle but profound signs that may appear up to a year before the end. Signs that are often overlooked, signs that, once understood, can change everything about how we care for the people we hold dear. I invite you to stay with me until the very end, because what we discuss here is not just information. It is a chance to prepare your heart, to prepare your family, and to offer the most beautiful gift of all to someone you love, your full presence and compassion when they need it most. This is not the end of love. It is the beginning of loving even deeper. Let us begin. When someone we love begins to show small changes, it is easy to explain them away. We say it is normal. We say they are just getting older. We hope that things will stay the same. After all, who among us wants to face the idea that time is running short? But the truth is, recognizing the subtle signs of decline is not about giving up. It is about waking up. It is about seeing reality with open eyes and an open heart, so we can walk alongside our loved ones with more tenderness, more wisdom, and more courage. Most people imagine that death in old age happens suddenly. One day everything is fine, and the next it is not. But in reality, the body often begins sending quiet signals months or even a year before the final farewell. Changes in appetite, shifts in energy, moments of confusion or withdrawal. These are not random. They are messages from the body. They are the body's way of gently preparing for what lies ahead. When we ignore these signs, we miss opportunities to say what needs to be said, opportunities to heal old wounds, opportunities to create memories that will carry us through the grief that is to come. By learning to see and understand these signs, we do not steal hope. We give a deeper kind of hope, the kind that says, I see you, I am here with you. I will walk this road with you to the very end. Recognizing the signs early also allows us to shift our focus. Instead of pushing for more treatments or expecting life to continue as usual, we can prioritize comfort, dignity, and emotional connection. We can stop measuring days by what was accomplished and start measuring them by the love that was shared. This is not easy work. It asks for strength, it asks for honesty, but it is also the most sacred work we will ever do. Being present for someone we love as they prepare to leave this world is not a burden, it is a gift, a final act of devotion. So as we move into the next part of this video, I invite you to keep your heart open, to remember that seeing the truth clearly is not an act of despair, it is an act of love. At first it may seem small, a belt that needs a new hole punched, pants that suddenly feel loose, shirts that hang off the shoulders a little more than before. You might hear excuses like, I am just not that hungry lately, or I guess I am just losing a little weight. But unintentional weight loss in an elderly loved one is not something to brush aside. It is not just about fitting into old clothes again. It is often one of the earliest and most profound signs that the body is preparing for a deeper transition. As we age, it is normal for appetite to decrease slightly, taste buds dull, meals lose some of their appeal. But when weight loss becomes steady, visible, and unexplained by deliberate diet changes, it points to something more serious happening beneath the surface. The body is a miraculous machine, but in the later stages of life, even this machine starts to slow down. Nutrient absorption becomes less efficient. The digestive system may struggle to process proteins and fats, leading to muscle wasting and frailty. The energy that was once used to rebuild tissues now shifts towards simply keeping vital functions alive. You might notice your loved one getting weaker. Tasks like standing up, walking across the room, or even holding a cup of tea start to look difficult. You might see their arms and legs looking thinner, their cheeks hollowing slightly, their skin looking looser. These are not just aesthetic changes, they are signs that the body is running low on the reserves it needs to sustain life. Sometimes underlying diseases play a role. Conditions like cancer, heart failure, kidney disease, or even depression can cause major drops in weight without any clear outward symptoms at first. Other times it is simply the body's natural way of winding down. Energy is conserved. Hunger signals diminish. Food no longer brings the same satisfaction. Families often respond by encouraging more eating, offering favorite meals, pushing protein shakes, pleading for just one more bite. These efforts are made with love, but often they are met with polite refusal or a few half-hearted bites. The truth is, once the body begins this transition, no amount of coaxing can reverse it. The focus must change. Instead of pushing for more food, we must focus on comfort. Offer small portions of easy-to-eat foods, soft fruits, warm broths, smooth puddings. Choose foods that soothe rather than overwhelm. Prioritize hydration even when appetite fades. And most importantly, offer presence, offer understanding. Offer the kind of love that says, I see you, I will not force you, I will walk with you at your pace. Significant weight loss is not about numbers on a scale. It is about the body sending a message that says, I am nearing the end of my journey. It is a hard message to hear, it hurts to accept. But it is also a beautiful call to lean in closer, to make the most of the time left, to focus on smiles instead of calories, to treasure conversations instead of measuring portions, to offer touch, comfort, and warmth above all else. If you notice this sign in someone you love, do not panic. Listen, be gentle. And know that the time you spend simply sitting beside them, holding their hand and loving them as they are, will mean more than any meal ever could. It starts small. Maybe they nap a little longer than usual. Maybe they say they are tired after folding laundry or watering the garden. You think they just need a good night's rest. After all, who does not feel a little more tired as they get older? But then you notice something deeper, not just tiredness, but exhaustion, not just slower steps, but heavy ones, not just more naps, but whole days spent in bed, struggling even to sit up. This is not the kind of fatigue that sleep can fix. It's a profound kind of tiredness, a kind that seeps into the bones, into the soul, a kind that no amount of coffee or encouragement can lift. Extreme fatigue and weakness are not just common signs of aging. They are often quiet indicators that the body is preparing to let go. When the body begins its final journey, it prioritizes its energy. It stops fueling things that are not essential. It stops repairing minor injuries. It stops wasting strength on activities that are no longer necessary. The heart beats a little slower. Blood flow decreases. Muscles lose their power. Even breathing, eating, and speaking can begin to feel like enormous efforts. You might notice your loved one dozing off during conversations. You might see them struggling to hold their fork or sit through a meal. You might find them exhausted after simply brushing their hair or buttoning a shirt. It is heartbreaking to watch. You want to help. You want to fix it. You want to believe that a good meal or a better night's sleep will bring them back to their old selves. But sometimes no fix is possible because the body knows. And the body is quietly doing what it needs to do. It is conserving energy for the most vital tasks. It is slowing down, not out of laziness, but out of wisdom. What your loved one needs now is not pushing, not pep talks, not demands to get up and move around. What they need is your presence, your patience, your love. Let them rest as much as they need. Adjust your expectations. Celebrate small victories like sitting in a chair for a little while, or joining a conversation for a few minutes. Make their environment as easy and comforting as possible. A favorite blanket within reach. Water nearby. Lights that are soft, not glaring. Understand that tiredness is not weakness. It is the body's way of saying, I have given so much, now I need to rest, and above all, honor their pace. If they can only do a little today, let that be enough. If they can only listen without speaking, let your words be soft and gentle. If they fall asleep while you sit beside them, know that your presence is still a gift beyond measure. Extreme fatigue and weakness are not signs of giving up. They are signs of moving closer to peace. Recognizing this helps us shift from expecting action to offering comfort. It teaches us to slow down too, to meet them where they are. to walk beside them, even if the steps are few and the journey is quiet, because sometimes the greatest love is simply sitting still with someone who needs you, without needing anything more from them at all. It often starts so quietly you barely notice: a forgotten name, a missed appointment, a strange story that does not quite make sense. You tell yourself it is just a bad day, just normal aging, nothing to worry about. But then it happens again and again. Increased cognitive confusion and emotional withdrawal are some of the most subtle and painful signs that a loved one may be entering their final chapter. Cognitive confusion is more than forgetting where the keys are. It is getting lost in a familiar house. It is struggling to find simple words. It is starting a sentence and not knowing how to finish it. You might see them staring at you blankly when you tell a story they would have laughed at months ago. You might hear them call you by the wrong name or talk about people and places from the past as if they are still present. At first it is easy to brush it off. They are just tired, they are just distracted. But deep down, you know something deeper is happening. The mind is like a library. Every memory, every face, every moment carefully stored away. But in these final stages, it is as if the lights in that library are slowly going out one by one. Some memories remain illuminated for a while, others fade into the shadows. Withdrawal often follows confusion. As thinking becomes harder, as conversation becomes exhausting, your loved one might start to pull away. They might sit quietly in a room full of laughter. They might stop reaching out to friends. They might prefer long silences to even simple conversations. This is not because they no longer love you. It is not because they no longer care. It is because their mind is no longer able to process all the stimulation of the world around them. Conversations that once brought joy now bring confusion and fatigue. Watching this change is one of the hardest parts of loving someone through their final season. It feels like losing them little by little, like watching a beautiful painting fade before your eyes. But even in the silence, even in the confusion, your loved one is still there. Their soul, their spirit, their essence remains. The greatest gift you can offer in these moments is your calm, patient presence. Speak slowly, speak simply. Repeat yourself when needed without frustration. Use gentle touches, smiles and soft tones. Understand that even if they cannot follow every word, they can still feel your love. They can feel the warmth of your hand, the kindness in your voice, the safety of your presence. Avoid correcting them harshly or trying to pull them back into a reality they cannot fully grasp. Instead, join them where they are. If they think it is 1960, smile and ask them to tell you about that time. If they confuse names, answer them with warmth, not shame. This stage is not about forcing clarity. It is about preserving dignity. It is about making the journey easier, softer, and more filled with grace. Increased confusion and withdrawal are not failures. They are part of the body's and mind's sacred process of letting go. By recognizing these signs and responding with gentleness, you create a space of peace that will carry your loved one and you through this precious time together. Hold their hand, sit in the silence. Sit in. Love them exactly as they are. At first, it seems harmless, a small cut that takes longer than usual to heal, a cough that lingers for weeks, a urinary tract infection that returns again and again. You take them to the doctor, you fill prescriptions, you remind yourself that aging bodies are simply more fragile. But deep inside you start to feel the worry growing. Frequent infections and slow healing are not just minor inconveniences. They are powerful signs that the body is struggling to keep up. They are quiet warnings that the immune system, once so strong, is growing weaker. When we are young, our bodies fight back fiercely. A scratch closes overnight. A cold passes in a few days. The immune system is a well-trained army protecting us from harm, but in the final stage of life, that army begins to lay down its weapons. Healing slows, infections linger, battles that were once won easily now feel overwhelming. You might notice your loved one getting sick more often. They might develop pneumonia after a simple cold. A small bruise might turn into a large purple mark that takes weeks to fade. A sore on their skin might never fully close. Even more heartbreaking, the signs of infection can be hard to spot. Older bodies do not always respond with classic symptoms like fever or chills. Instead, you might see a sudden increase in confusion, a noticeable drop in energy, a quiet withdrawal from activities they used to enjoy. And while our instincts tell us to fight harder, to call more doctors, to push more medicines, sometimes the body simply cannot bounce back. No amount of antibiotics or treatments can reverse what is happening underneath. That does not mean we stop caring. It means we shift our focus. Instead of chasing every cure, we prioritize comfort. We focus on hydration, soft nourishment, and creating a clean and calming environment. We listen closely to what our loved one needs, even if they cannot say it clearly. Sometimes comfort means treating an infection gently with simple remedies. Sometimes it means choosing not to hospitalize again, choosing to stay home surrounded by familiar faces and voices instead. The emotional impact of this stage is profound. Watching someone you love battle one illness after another can feel like a slow heartbreak. Every infection feels like a thief, stealing a little more of their strength, a little more of their sparkle. But it is also a time to deepen your connection. It is a time to sit close, to offer small comforts, to be the steady presence they need when their body is too tired to fight. It is a time to recognize that healing is not just about physical recovery, it is about emotional and spiritual peace. It is about creating a space where they feel safe, loved, and unafraid. Frequent infections and slow healing are the body's way of telling us that the journey is shifting. It is not a failure, it is a natural and sacred transition. When we listen with compassion instead of fear, we can respond with the tenderness they need most. We can be the calm in the storm, the gentle hands that say, "I am here. I will not leave you. You are still deeply loved." And in those final months, that love matters more than anything else. Sometimes the signs are as quiet as a whisper, a pause between breaths that lasts a little too long, a hand that feels cooler than usual, a skin tone that seems more pale or bluish, especially at the fingertips or lips. These changes are not just small quirks of aging. They are deep messages from the body. They are signs that the journey toward the final stage is drawing nearer. Breathing is something we rarely think about when it is smooth and easy. But as the body prepares to let go, breathing becomes harder, slower, more labored. You might notice patterns that feel unsettling, breaths that come in quick bursts followed by long, silent pauses, breathing that becomes shallow, almost as if the air is only reaching the surface. Sometimes there is a sound, a soft rattling or gurgling in the chest, especially when lying down. It's called the death rattle. And while it sounds frightening, it is not painful. It's simply a natural part of the body relaxing, slowing down, letting go. Circulation changes too. Blood moves more slowly. The body prioritizes sending blood to the heart and brain, leaving the hands and feet cooler, sometimes taking on a bluish tint. Touching their hand, you might feel the chill. You might see the skin grow mottled with patchy purples and blues. You might notice that even simple movements leave them breathless, as if they have run a long race just by sitting up or speaking a few words. For the family, witnessing these changes is deeply emotional. Every labored breath, every cold hand feels like a reminder that time is slipping away. You might feel the urge to fix it, to prop them up higher, to call for more oxygen, to urge them to breathe deeper. But sometimes the kindest thing is simply to be there, adjusting pillows for comfort, using a humidifier to ease the dryness in the air, offering small sips of water if they can manage it, whispering words of love and reassurance when words are no longer easy for them to find. Understand that these changes are not emergencies, they are not mistakes. They are part of a sacred, natural process. The body is not fighting anymore, it is surrendering with dignity, it is preparing for peace. This is not a time to fill the room with noise and panic. It is a time to fill it with quiet love, with gentle touches, with soft music if they like it, with whispered blessings, with your calm presence. You cannot take away the difficulty of their breathing. You cannot change the course of what is happening, but you can ease their path. You can make their final days softer, safer, more filled with tenderness, and in doing so, you will give them a final gift greater than any medicine. You will give them the gift of feeling loved all the way through to the end. Major changes in breathing and circulation are not the end of love. They are the beginning of a deeper kind of connection, a connection that does not need words or even breath, a connection made of pure presence. And sometimes sitting beside them, holding their hand in that sacred stillness, is all they need to know they are not alone. It is one thing to recognize the signs, it is another thing to accept them. When you start noticing weight loss, deep fatigue, confusion, infections, or changes in breathing, it feels like standing on the shore watching a beloved ship sail slowly away. You can wave, you can call out, but you cannot stop the tide. There is a deep sorrow in this, a sorrow that words can barely touch. For many families, the first reaction is denial. Maybe it is just a bad week. Maybe they will recover. Maybe one more round of medicine will fix everything. Hope is natural. Hope is beautiful. But there is also beauty in acceptance. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It does not mean you stop loving or stop caring. It means you shift your love into a new form, a quieter, deeper, more tender love. It means letting go of the need to fix and embracing the need to be. Instead of rushing to find solutions, you find yourself rushing to be present, to listen, to hold a hand, to offer small comforts that mean the world. You begin to understand that every day is precious, that every conversation, no matter how broken, is a gift, that every smile, every squeeze of the hand, every shared silence is sacred. Acceptance gives you the ability to see clearly. It allows you to stop fighting battles that cannot be won and instead pour your energy into what truly matters. And what matters is love, presence, peace. It is normal to grieve even while your loved one is still here, to mourn the person they used to be, to mourn the dreams you had of more time. Allow yourself to feel that grief. Do not push it away. It is part of the journey. It is the price of deep love. But do not let the grief steal the beauty that still remains. There are still stories to hear, even if they come out slowly. There are still smiles to share, even if they are faint. There are still moments of laughter, even if they are brief. There is still love, so much love. Choosing acceptance allows you to focus on making their remaining days full of comfort and dignity. It gives you the freedom to create memories that will sustain you long after they are gone. Maybe it is sitting quietly by their side while soft music plays. Maybe it is reading a favorite book aloud. Maybe it is simply being the steady presence they can rest against. Acceptance is not easy. It requires courage. It requires strength. But it is also a profound act of love when you can hold their hand and say without words, I am here. I see you. I love you. I am not afraid. You offer a gift greater than any cure. You offer peace. And that peace is what will carry you both through the hardest days ahead. It is not about adding more days to their life. It is about adding more life, more love, more meaning to their days. Acceptance turns sorrow into sacredness. It transforms the end of life into a holy, beautiful, tender chapter. It lets you walk with your loved one, not behind them in fear, but beside them in love. And in the end, that love is what matters most. When someone you love is nearing the end of their life, it is natural to feel helpless. You want to do something. You want to fix it, to save them, to ease their suffering. But the most powerful support you can offer is often far simpler and far more profound. It starts with presence, just being there. Sitting quietly beside them, even without words, speaks volumes. It says, you are not alone. You are loved. You are safe. Presence is a powerful medicine. It brings comfort where words sometimes cannot reach. The next essential gift is patience. Things will slow down. Conversations might drift. Responses might take longer. Memories might fade. Tasks that used to be easy might now take a painful amount of effort. Be patient. Let them take their time. Let silences exist without rushing to fill them. Give them the dignity of moving at their own pace. Another way to offer support is through small, tender actions. Simple things like brushing their hair, massaging their hands with lotion, or offering a warm blanket. These acts of care do not need to be grand. In fact, it is often the smallest gestures that bring the deepest sense of peace. Listen more than you speak. Sometimes what they need most is not advice or solutions, but the simple act of being heard. Ask open questions if they are willing to talk. What do you feel like today? Would you like me to sit with you for a while? These small invitations give them a sense of control and respect. Comfort is another key focus. Think about what brings them physical ease. Soft pillows, warm socks, their favorite music playing low in the background. A quiet, peaceful room. Even scents can bring comfort. A favorite candle, fresh flowers by the bed, or simply the smell of a home-cooked meal they loved once. Do not underestimate the power of touch. A gentle hand on the shoulder, a stroke of the hair, or simply holding their hand. These small touches communicate love and security in ways words never could. It is also important to support them emotionally. If they want to talk about their fears, their regrets, or their hopes, let them. Do not try to change the subject or offer false reassurances. Just listen, just be there. Sometimes they will want to talk about the end, about saying goodbye. As painful as it is, honor those conversations. They are trying to find peace, And you can help by allowing them to express their heart fully, create moments of normalcy whenever possible, share a memory, watch a favorite old movie together, laugh at a silly joke. These simple joys remind them and you that life is still happening even now. Protect their dignity, help them maintain whatever independence they can. Let them make choices whenever possible. Respect their wishes even when it is hard. Be gentle with yourself too. Supporting someone at the end of life is one of the most profound and challenging experiences you will ever face. You will feel exhausted. You will feel heartbroken. You will sometimes wonder if you are doing enough. Remember that your love, your presence, your quiet courage are enough. More than enough. You are not there to save them. You are there to walk with them, to stand beside them in love. And that love will echo long after the final goodbye. It will live in every memory, every shared smile, every quiet hour spent together. It will live on in you. When you're standing at the edge of time with someone you love, every moment becomes precious. The ordinary things, once rushed or overlooked, now feel sacred. The way their hand feels in yours, the way their smile lights up the room, even if it lasts only a second. The sound of their voice, even if it is weak or fleeting. These are the treasures that remain. These are the gifts that no one can take away. In these final months or weeks, life slows down. It invites you to see clearly. It invites you to move with intention, to speak with kindness, to love without holding back. If you are blessed to recognize the signs early, you have a rare opportunity. You can choose to fill the time left with love, with presence, with peace. Reflect on what matters most. It is not the perfect words. It is not fixing every problem. It is being there, truly being there. Sit with them without distractions. Hold their hand without needing to say anything. Let your heart speak louder than your voice. Ask yourself each day, what small act of love can I offer today? Maybe it is reading a favorite poem aloud. Maybe it is playing their favorite song. Maybe it is simply sitting quietly, breathing in the same space, sharing the same light. There will be tears. Let them come. There will be fears. Let them pass. There will be grief. It is natural. But alongside the sorrow, there will also be profound beauty, moments when time feels suspended, moments when love feels larger than the body it lives in, moments when you realize that presence itself is enough. Cherish the laughter, even if it is brief. Cherish the touch of their hand. Cherish the chance to say, I love you one more time. If there are words you have been holding back, say them. If there are apologies needed, offer them. If there is forgiveness to give, do not delay. The end of life is not just about saying goodbye. It is about honoring the life that was lived. It is about celebrating the love that was shared. It is about recognizing that the bond you built does not end with a final breath. It continues in memory, in spirit, in every life you touch because of them. When you walk with someone to the edge of their life, you learn something few people ever understand. You learn that love is stronger than loss. You learn that presence is the greatest gift you can offer. You learn that goodbye is not the end. It is the beginning of a new kind of connection. So be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with them. Move slowly. Speak kindly. Love fully. And know that even as the body fades, the love remains. It always remains. As we reach the end of this journey together, I invite you to pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Feel the weight of everything you have learned today. Recognizing the subtle signs that someone may be in their final year is not easy. It takes courage, it takes heart, it takes love. But knowing these signs gives you a gift. It gives you the power to be present. It gives you the wisdom to make every moment matter. It gives you the chance to walk alongside your loved one with grace, dignity, and peace. If you have someone in your life showing these signs, do not wait for a perfect time. Reach out, sit with them, laugh with them, hold their hand. Let them know through every small action that they are loved beyond measure. If you found value in this video, I encourage you to leave a comment below. Share one thing you learned today, share one memory you are grateful for, or simply share a heart as a silent tribute to the love we all carry. And if you believe someone else might need these words, do not hesitate to share this video with them. Sometimes the smallest acts of kindness ripple out farther than we can imagine. Finally, if you want to continue learning, growing, and walking this path with love and wisdom, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. Together we can build a community that supports, uplifts, and honors every stage of life. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening with your heart. And thank you for choosing love even when it is hard. Until next time, stay kind, stay present, and stay full of grace.